to Mr. Weixiong Chen. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, allow me to begin by thanking the Security Council for the opportunity to brief you on the 15th report of the Secretary General on the threat posed by Daesh and the efforts of the United Nations to assist member states to counter the threat. We would also like to thank Under-Secretary General Voronkov for his overview of the report, and thank both UNOCT and the Analytical Support and Sanctions Monitoring Team for their invaluable collaboration in preparing the report. Mr. President, the threat posed by Daesh and its affiliates remains both global and evolving. Despite its recent leadership losses, Daesh continues to take advantage of conditions conducive to the spread of terrorism, to recruit as well as to organize and execute complex attacks. The exploitation of conflict-related fragilities remains at the heart of this strategy, notably in Iraq, the Syrian Arab Republic, and across the African continent, where the situation in Africa, notably West and Central Africa and Mozambique, has become more concerning. Terrorism does not exist in a vacuum. We face a range of overlapping global challenges that risk complicating our counter-terrorism responses and exacerbating the threat posed by Daesh and other terrorist groups. As Secretary General referenced in the report, the connected global food crisis could act as a further catalyst for the spread of terrorism and violent extremism conducive to terrorism. Mr. President, CTED has continued to implement its mandate in accordance with Resolution 2617, supporting member states in their implementation of relevant Council resolutions. Following the 2 years of virtual and hybrid assessment formats due to the COVID-19 pandemic, CTED was able to resume its on-site assessment visits on behalf of the Counter-Terrorism Committee this year. We have continued to analyze emerging issues, trends, and developments, and issued several analytical and research products in that regard. These included a report synthesizing our extensive consultations with African civil society organizations on key trends and developments in relation to Daesh in Africa, a study on the interrelationship between counterterrorism frameworks and international humanitarian law, a joint report with the International Peace Institute on the relationship between masculinities and violent extremism conducive to terrorism, and most important and most recently, a study of the links between the exploitation, trade, and trafficking of natural resources and terrorism financing. CTED, in close coordination and cooperation with UNOCT and other key partners, has also worked to support a range of capacity-building activities based on the Counter-Terrorism Committee's recommendations. Mr. President, enhanced multilateralism, international cooperation, and global solidarity is the only way to counter a global terrorist threat like Daesh. A comprehensive, coordinated, all-of-UN approach remains crucial to developing and implementing effective counterterrorism measures. These strategies and measures must be tailored, age and gender sensitive, and human rights compliant. CTED remains committed to assisting the Council, the Committee, and Member States in these efforts while accelerating cooperation and collaboration with stakeholders. In closing, I would like to inform the Council of the forthcoming special meeting of the Counter-Terrorism Committee on the use of emerging technologies for terrorist purposes to be held from 28th to 30th October 2022 in New Delhi and Mumbai, India. It is my hope that this event will serve as a forum to further enhance and strengthen our multilateral and multidimensional counterterrorism efforts. Thank you, Mr. President. I thank Mr. Chen for his briefing. I'm very glad to see that the Secretariat can make a briefing to the Security Council in Chinese. I now give the floor